I need to figure out a better way to do that transition. Anyways, I am here, I think. Wait. This looks different. What the hell is wrong? I feel like I deleted something in this thing. And I need to check myself just to make sure the audio is working. Get rid of this earbud. I have no clue if the music audio is there. I think I destroyed it, got rid of it. I don't need to get rid of it, but I need that thing. How do I add you back again? That's your video. What happens if I play some music in the background? Let's see. Is that playing in the background though? Anyways, in this video, yep, pretty much it is what it is. Hello there, Steffi, how you doing? Okay, so I somehow killed my music. Shit. That's gonna blow up in your ears. I apologize if you guys heard that. How the fuck did I delete that on my main window? Yeah. Crap, I can't see shit. Where's my glasses? I forgot, I need my glasses. Hold up. You've been wondering about glares? Alright, hold up. I'll answer these once I figure out where the fuck I am doing and shit. I think it's this one. Alright. Alright, I got everything. I should be fine now. Alright, so someone asked about glares. Let me go back to the chat. So, glares are pretty simple. And good morning to you too. Glares, you just need to use 2 of them. Compared to the usual rule where it's like, if you want the maximum transfer rate at the highest percentage, glares, they only require 2. I'll demonstrate that in a bit because I am going to be working on my storage in-game. I am full. Like, my character storage is full, this character's inventory is full, and I will have to actually transfer stuff in between. And also, I don't have a lot of Meseta anymore because I've been spending a lot on fashion stuff. Pee poo poo. Hey there, Zen, how you doing? Or Ben? Also, just FYI to anyone playing on the Japanese PSO2, we are getting an early maintenance, like in 2 hours-ish. Japanese PSO2 is going to go into a maintenance. Now, from what I looked at, Global is not getting their maintenance until... I think it's at 1 a.m. my time. But yeah, that's like nighttime. But Japanese PSO2, we're getting an early maintenance. ECU says, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm doing alright. I'm kind of mad at how Japanese PSO2 is getting a maintenance early. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Within the 2 hours, I'm going to be talking to you guys, explaining some stuff when it comes to augments and affixing. If you have any questions, you can obviously ask me during this stream. And I'm going to be fixing my storage because I got so much crap in my storage. I might burn up some keys too. Those are silver keys. I don't really need to attend to them as much. Except maybe the Magatsu one since it does give star gems. But yeah, now I need to do some basic management stuff. Okay, so let's see. None of that. I need to check the 13 stars. Now, the reason why I'm holding on to these bacills are... Well, one, it does give phrase decay. You're gonna get this upon episode 6 release over there in Global, unless Global change it up. The other reason why I'm keeping them is because they got glares. However, I'm debating about holding on to these. I might need to get a particular character to hold on to these bacills, just because of these glares. And if people are going for Guardian Soul on their weapons, obviously, they might try to go for the 8-slot one. However, there are ways around it, especially if you've seen my ability transfer video, showing you guys how to go around it. But the question is, do I want to really deal with that? I don't deal with a lot of weapon affixes. If you are playing there on Global PSO2, you might want to consider holding on to some of these weapons, just because they do have some value. And then Justin says, Phantom Standard SAF. It depends on how you build your Phantom. Because if you decide to go rifle, you would want to... Actually, let's stare at the skill tree, because it's a lot it's easier for me to explain some of this stuff by staring at this. So, no, apparently I have a couple more points. I did not actually spend points on these. I thought I got that. Okay, so that explains some of the stuff that I have on my skill tree. I might need to reset this. Yeah, I might need to reset this just so I can put some points on various things. Like if I was going Phantom Rifle, for example, I might want to consider some little things like the gelin, because if you go for Phase Decay, it's gonna give you a boost towards enemy that has that gelin status. Where's my rifle? Where's my Puros? So if I stare at this, Phase Decay boosts damage against enemies affected by gelin by 5%. So, as Phantom Rifle, actually, is this specifically with the rifle? I think it means anything. Let's stare at this. Yeah, I think it doesn't matter if it's the rifle, but if I was having that certain ability and if I was playing Phantom, I would want to get this just because it's going to put that ailment on there, on the enemy, and then you'll get that 5% because of that particular ability you have. Yeah, I should actually have a lot more points on this thing. I think I just got this to make my character a bit versatile, but in all honesty, I should try to capitalize on that. I might need to reset this tree again. And I didn't realize... Oh, no. The reason why this character doesn't have a lot of points in it is because she's not supposed to be maining Phantom, right? I need to stare at Zillion. Like, Sharel is a braver hunter. Zillion is my rifle main, so she might have a lot more points than that. I didn't even do the client orders over here. Which are the best affixes for Phantom Katana without invoking RNG? It's going to be S attack and most likely PP. The reason why you will want to emphasize on those two is because there is a certain skill tree within the Phantom tree that boosts your damage depending on how much PP you have. Or it gives you something because of the amount of PP you have. Where are you? So this thing over here increases damage based on your maximum PP. And then if you go critical stream, increase critical rate and critical damage based on the max PP. A limit on critical damage and critical rate is in place. So if you have a lot of PP, guess what? This little perk over here with the Phantom tree is going to be to your advantage. What else? And you also want a Dex Mag with the, with the Phantom. Because if you decide to go use all these different weapons, there is a perk in here which allows you to have the Dex convert itself accordingly to SRT attack. So yeah, it's over here. Redistribute your mag's attack levels based on your mag's Dex level. So, if I have a 200 Dex mag, it's going to give me 200 S attack, R attack, T attack, whatever I'm using. Yeah, this character isn't supposed to be maining Phantom though. It's optional. I tend to level up like other classes if I already got something at max level. Because I don't want to put extra XP on something that's already at max level. I think Sharel, this character, she has the most levels all across the board in a sense. Not all at max level. Actually, max level is now 100. I am going to do a huge power level session, maybe... When is it? Whenever the Sword Art Online collab is up, I'm going to try to do a bunch of power leveling on as a stream. And I need to get most of these classes to 100. I have like 22 characters, and each one of these characters would have at least one of these classes at 95. Some of them, not all of them. There's only a couple characters that I didn't really level up. Alright, so let me catch up. Then, Ben says, should I still get phrase decay if my alliance runs don't have any phantoms? Me dumb, can't decide. Ultimately, the reason why you will get phrase decay is if you plan to... If you know that when you fight against something, there's going to be phrase decay. There are alternative ways to put gelin on an opponent. So if someone's like a ranger, there is something in the ranger tree that can place gelin. It's not just phantom. Let me make sure though. Poison trap. Yeah, look. Ranger can also do it. Now, it is questionable because if you do go into a random MPA, for example, and you have phrase decay, but no one in that MPA can shoot a gelin onto your opponent, and it doesn't get that gelin effect, then you're not getting that 5%. It's either you yourself can guarantee that, hey, look, I can make sure that there's going to be a gelin on there so I can get that 5% from phrase decay. Like, Phantom's good with that. If you decide to main Phantom, then there are abilities within the Phantom tree that can allow you to put that status. So you can get both phrase decay and then get these points over here. But, yeah, once again, if you gamble on other people doing it, that's a gamble. It's either you're going to get it or you're not going to get it. If you know that there's going to be certain individuals in your runs, especially if you organize them, and if you have a team MPA, that can help you not get this. It's entirely up to you though, and it depends on these various factors. Alright, let's see. Justin C says, phrase decay for all phantom weapons. KK. I mean, it depends. It depends on how you want to build it. It gives you that 5%, but you gotta note that you need that gelin somewhere on that enemy for that 5% to kick in. It's a conditional, pretty much. And then ECU asks how important it is to make Guardian Soul. I will be honest with you guys, Guardian Soul isn't for everyone. It is stupidly good because of all its multipliers. It is the highest, the affix itself is the highest one that can give you a giant number. Pretty much, if I had to compare Guardian Soul to like past formulas and affixes, this pretty much trumps over the stuff that we had to do for like episode 2, because in episode 2 for the Japanese PSO2, people were stuck around 3 slots and 4 slot, and the numbers, the multipliers that they were going for were pretty much a bunch of attacks, but it was like into 2 digits. We didn't push to the 3 digits. We didn't get to 100 as attack or 200 as attack or RT. We were stuck within the 2 digits, so you'll see 50, 70, you know, low numbers. But Guardian Soul can easily do that. And guess what? With Guardian Soul, it's a big fucking number where you can put even bigger numbers on top of that to go for something that's above 420 attack. I would just use that cheap method though to get 420 without using Guardian Soul, because the only issue with Guardian Soul is that it is an annoying affix because it's stuck at 10%. It is a gamble. There is a safe way to try to gamble this and still have the materials you need to make it. I already displayed it in a good chunk of my videos. But yeah, it's fucking Guardian Soul. It's not for everyone. It does cost a good chunk of resources. You're gonna gamble with all these different things. There are easy ways to approach it though, especially if you wait for endgame content and all the pop items that can be added into the game. But Guardian Soul, it's not for everyone. If you want to go for it because you want to go for it, you want to go for it because you got something in mind, then go ahead and do it. I would just say be careful with how you do this approach. I already break down a bunch of different formulas and approaches you can do to get it. But yeah, that's my advice. If you plan to go for it, just farm smart and affix smart. Cause I already did, but I already made Guardian Sooo like on day 1 over here in the Japanese PSO2. It cost me roughly around, I think 300 mil just to do it. But the issue was the recycle badges more than the actual augments and affixes and me doing the final affix in itself or the fodder making in itself. It was the recycle badges that hurt me more than that. And then there's also silly mistakes too that I made. The second Guardian Sooo unit that I made, it was half of that. It was roughly around 150, 180 mil. And then this last Guardian Sooo I need to make, it might cost me 100 mil or lower. Depends on how I prep it and the certain abilities I'm going for. So yeah, if you have any questions though, ECU, just let me know. Richard says, which are the best affixes for Phantom Katana without invoking... Oh wait, I already read that. Yeah, it's pretty much your S attack. It depends on how high you're going for and what you're trying to do. There are budget formulas. I can easily like make a budget formula for you if you want when it comes to like certain S attacks, or if you tell me the things that if you tell me the different factors that are, if you tell me like the things that you're taking note of, for example, how much money you're spending, the certain stats you're going for, the certain number you're going for, I can try to piece something together and give it to you. And then Il says, which time ability should we do for episode 6? So timed abilities, this will fall on what map you're spamming a bunch of. I think there are ultra hard, what is it? Ultra hard free exploration time attacks. I'm not entirely sure. When it comes to time attacks, a lot of people would try to go for the attack ones because they want to increase their attack stat even further on the units. And if you put it on 3 of them, then, you know, that's a huge boost to your attack stat. Let me actually look at this. Can explain. I think using the regular exploration will work on the free exploration stuff, but I'm not 100% sure. I barely use these time abilities. The only time I did use them was when I was farming extreme quests. I think there would be a bit more information upon the episode 6 release over there in global to see if you can get certain time abilities. But as long as you get the certain stat, the maximum certain stat that you want on your units, then capitalize on it. So if you want to capitalize on your attack, you will want to try to find it 60 plus SRT attack or plus 70. I think plus 70 is the highest over here. Viper says, I think we... Going back to nav TAs? Wait, what do you mean? Hey there, crew, how you doing? And then Minnie says, wow, 300 mil. Can you tell us what kind of augments you would slap on a budget rod for Phantom? So, the question is, what rod? Because you still got to consider the various ones that you have. Alright, so a good example would be Lightstream and Atlas. Now, there will be the Revelate that will be added over there. But usually for Lightstream, I would try to emphasize on the tech boost that comes along with it, or the ability that boosts by 1% for every 60 attack of special abilities added to the item, and boosts by a further 2% at 200 plus. I would say you want to focus on that, but at the same time, it also depends on your budget, because I can say that making a 200 attack on a weapon and trying to have it at an 8 slot can be a pain in the butt. Especially if you don't have the pieces. Best thing is if you've been farming and stuff, hopefully you have the pieces. But once again, at an 8 slot, that's a bit difficult. If you're able to get around this with SAFs, good on you. You would definitely want to try to capitalize on that. But once again, it depends on what the weapon is. If you already have the weapon at that certain slot number, how many S-class ability slots it has, what the weapon potential is. Because I tend to use Lightstream for my Phantom Rod, just because of the potential. You can obviously use some other weapon, like an Atlas EX, but with the Atlas, it gives you a damage boost and it survives one lethal hit and gradually recovers AP over time or afterwards. I wouldn't get the Atlas EX for my Phantom Rod. Don't get me wrong, it's good universally, but in terms of the potential, I don't need that. However, if I customize the S1 to S4 abilities, it might do something that I would like. So, yeah, that's the thing. What are you working with? What are you trying to go for? Alright, let me catch up with some of the chat that I skimmed over. Okay, L says what time... Oh wait, already explained that one. Hey there, Panda, how you doing? Richard says S grade plus power 6, Axel... Doombreak 3, Crack 5, Grand Might plus Capsule, Mana Rev for unit. Is it good? I'll have to look at that once I catch up to chat again and give my opinions. Steffi says, it's Phrase Decay better than Phrase Weak for Phantom Rod? That is also a good question. So what was the weapon? It's Foreignness. Foreignness has that. So, this is situational. Well, both of them have factors you gotta consider. Like I was talking about earlier with Phrase Decay, you need to make sure that gelling is applicable, or someone can put gelling on that boss or your enemy. Because if you don't have that gelling status, that Phrase Decay is not gonna kick in. Phrase Weak, this works if you hit the enemy with their weakness. So this depends on the rod itself, the element that you have, and the enemy's weakness to said element. Pretty much this is in reference to a rainbow set, which means that you need various weapons with different elements, and then you'll want to have the Phrase Weak on it to get that additional 2%. That might be a pain in the butt though, and if I was going to emphasize on Phrase Weak, I would also use Ripper and Slayer abilities, because if it's going to be quite niche, then I will make it niche. I will make it to the point where it will give me a huge boost if I fulfill all these conditionals. But once again, that's going to be a bit tricky because Ripper and Slayer abilities, they're a pain in the butt to work with. They do not have a good transfer rate unless you do it on an affix week, but even then, it's still a pain in the butt. So it depends on how you work with them. Phrase Decay is a lot easier because there's chances in the MPA and with other people, especially if they run like Ranger or Phantom, to apply that gelling status. And you yourself could do it as well. Phrase Weak, it works, but you need to fulfill all these different situational conditions. Alright, so Panda says, thoughts on S-Class augments for units. I made 6 slot TB units with the intention of ditching 1 affix on each. Should I like the S augments? Alright, I'll come back to that one too. Sebastian says, now that gelling was mentioned, Zerler does not exist in PSO2? Wait, is that a weapon or... I am not familiar with Zerler. The EC says, I'm going to be 50-50 here. I'm listening to your stream while working. It's alright. ECU. 70 on T attack is higher. Yes. 50 plus 20. The B is time. Okay. So yeah. Think plus 20 highest substat you can get at least. Maybe I'm wrong. Need to check what I got so far. Crew says Luther Rev, Tech 6, Apprentice Cell, Mastery 4, and Grand Tech is it's possible for less than 35 mil. You're gonna have to stay out those prices, crew, if you're asking if that certain formula is budget / possible. I would say the problem with global is that they might inflate it a bit too high. Wait till later for it to dumb down, but it also depends if you want to affix during that particular moment or you want to fix that weapon here and now. You might need to spend a bit more, or you might want to try to farm for them. Justice says augments will be 8 slots, 4% boost or strike tech shoot for live stream. So that particular one that I have goes to, if you fulfill the condition for that S1 ability, the boost ability, this S1, if you do it right, you're gonna get a 1% for 60 attack. So do 60 times 3, you get 180. So with 180, you get 3% right there. But if you get 200 attack, it gives you an additional 200% for being at 200 plus. 200 plus. So once you hit that 200 marker, not only do you get that 3%, you also get an additional 2%. But any more than that, actually, the next number you might want to try to push for would be 240. But other than that, it's going to be a bit difficult / expensive. Because if you got 240, technically you reach the 2%. But do what? 60 times 4? 240. And then you get 4%. So you get a 6%. But I'll stop there because like any further than that might be pushing it. But once again, even going for a 240 attack, that can be pushing it as well. 200 is a good number for a good 5%. And if you want to, you know, stack these different damage percent multipliers, especially let's say you are playing on Phantom and you have a way to apply gel and then put a phrase decay, you got a 5% from that S1, and then you got a 5% with that phrase decay. But you really have to toy around with like these augments and affixes to figure out which abilities can give you that 200 while you can still add a phrase decay. You might need to sacrifice one of these S-class abilities to do that. For this weapon that I have, or this old weapon of mine, I put a photon reduction to reduce PP consumption, and then there's a boost damage by 2%. So by damage percent alone, I'm only getting 7%. When it comes to my certain wand weapon though, I think it's called the Still. So the Still weapon of mine has a lot more damage percent because it stacks with all these different complements or S-class abilities. I get Red Petal Flash. It's called something different over there. But pretty much it's the certain S1 ability that boosts damage by 3% for 30 seconds each time you deal a total of 450,000 damage. Guess what? These other two, S2 and S3, they complement that S1. Because while Red Petal, Blue Ocean, or White Snow Flash is active, boosts damage by up to 7% over time. So I got a 7% with the 3%, that's 10%. Rainbow's Intent is while Petal, Ocean, Leaf, Moon, Snow, or Shadow, Flash is active, boosts of 5%. So now that's like 15%, and then I got an additional 2%. Actually, no, let me make sure my number's right. 3, 5, that's 8. Okay, yeah, 15%, and then an additional 2% because this is a special S5 wand S-class ability. 2% additional to that. I got 17%. But these three, they're conditional because 2 of them will activate if Red Petal Flash is active. So this isn't active all the time. When it is active, guess what? It's a good 17%. but when it goes on a cooldown and stuff, it's only gonna go back down to 2%. Granted, that already put some other, abilities on here to increase that T attack. Really? I thought ship 4 for global would be a bit cheaper, because over here in the Japanese PSO2, ship 4 is known to be the cheapest in terms of a good chunk of items. Let me make sure I catch up with chat. Alright, so Minnie says, I got a Trailblazer rod with 7 slots and 100 mil to spend. I would like to get 120 plus tech and maybe plus 5 PP. That is possible with the SAFs. Like, if you look for certain weapons that have certain augments as an SAF. For example, good one would be a Ray or Union weapon, because they have that SAF for an Astroso. The question is, how many slots are you going for? Because 7 slots and 8 slots, they're the big issues. And then Viper says 120 tech and 5 PP. Okay, yeah, so Viper kind of pointed that out too. That 1% turned into... No. It doesn't work like that. Because it's stated in there. You gotta read it carefully. Because it says... boost by a further 2%. It's not like it's gonna change that 1% into a 2%. It should be a bit more text if it was trying to say that. But it does give you 1% for every 60 T attack. Once you hit the 200 plus, you get an additional 2%. But it's not like they change that 1% to a 2%. Now, if someone wants to correct me, and if I'm actually really wrong, then like go ahead and say that. But yeah, that's what the text is saying, and that's what a good chunk of people have told me in terms of how this works. So as long as if you go like, once again, 200 to 40, you're getting 4% from that, but you also meet the criteria of getting that 200 plus, so you get a plus 2%. You can push it further, but once again, I don't advise you to give it too much. 200 is a good number to try to aim for, especially if you get the boost, this S1 boost. Do you need to get it? That is entirely up to you. You can ignore this ability and go for something else. Like, go for something that might complement you, or go for that combo that I have on this wand. So instead of going for that tech boost, maybe you want to go with Red Petal Flash, Rainbow's Intent, and Nature's Melody too. That's going to give you a good whopping 15% compared to what the tech boost by itself can give you. However, this is goddamn expensive. And I don't know if Global PSO2 actually have the grade 2 for this. You guys might have Rainbow's Intent. Actually, name differently over there, so... That's the one thing I hate when it comes to them changing the name. If I say something over here, you guys have to figure out what is the English equivalent over there. It makes it harder for me to be a bit technical because, like, they change it up. Now, I do know some of the augment names over there in Global, like how when I say power, it's actually might. But once again, it's fucking stupid. It kind of limits how I can communicate with you guys in terms of giving you easy names and understanding shit. Once again, that's just my opinion, though. Panda says, Phantom Rifle normal attack with S augment that boosts normal attack damage could be fun. That one, here's the thing. I've been toying around with my damage with Phantom Rifle, and my pal that was farming with me yesterday, we tested the Rock Bear challenge thing, and most of the time with Phantom, you will be using your basic attacks. So getting that certain S4 ability that can boost your normal attack will be good on you. But once again, this depends on your playstyle, because let's say you like doing a bunch of photon arts more than the basic attack. You might want to aim for something else. This is why S-class abilities are so good. You have various ways to customize your playstyle. You don't need to be limited. Now, obviously, some people will vouch and be stern about it and say, like, look, you should do this. But for me, I'll give you guys option. I do not want to be stern about it. I like you guys to choose for yourself. I'll give you points and tips and stuff. It's just that you yourself had to be the deciding factor. I might say some stern things as well about certain abilities and augments, but that's just my opinion. It's up to you guys to make that final decision. For example, I can say that Doombreak is becoming obsolete just because of all these better abilities that will come out, especially with the end of episode 6. If you do farm for them, if you do have them, you could sell them, you can use it in your own weapons and units. But personally for me, I dropped Doombreak 3 when I saw all these different abilities in episode 6. And Doombreak is just a pain in the butt for me, because I hate farming for them. Now, the Evangelion collab that we had over here in the Japanese PSO2 allowed us to farm for the Doombreak 3 easily in 2 and 1. But after that, I just didn't have the motivation to try to farm for them. And then Justice says, my live stream has 240, I'll use Shoot Boost S1. Right on. And then Crude says, red pedal activation is only 550k damage in 30 seconds. It rarely goes on cooldown. Okay. I was just making sure, because some abilities actually have a cooldown, some abilities don't. Yeah, so Crew also confirms that at that 5% is... No, if you get 200 plus attack with that S1 ability, you get that 5%. Max is at 5%. Alright. Oh, wait. It's actually stuck at 5%? The ECU says your S3 or S4 you have is like 250 mil on ship one. Last I checked for it. Yeah, that's the thing. It's an expensive ability. It's an expensive ability. So, you know, there are alternative abilities to go for. That's quite expensive. You can farm for it, and if it drops for you, good on you. Use it. But if you try to buy it, it might be a bit too much. And then on my Trailblazer, I'm using S1 Amtech, S2 Crits, 15%, don't remember the name, and S3 Precision Will. Yeah, I have no clue what the Japanese equivalent is. By the way, can someone say what crit rate I will have on Phantom with 233 PP at the moment as force, though... There should be something about that. Let me stare into the skill tree. Because there is a built-in crit rate boost for your Phantom, but you have to meet those. Actually, it should be 50, I think. Okay, so here it is. I already maxed this one out on this character. Max crit rate is 60%. Max crit damage is 5%. So if you wanted to increase your crit rate, chances, then all you need to do is find abilities that can slowly, 40% or higher, but like don't overdo it, because you're already at a 60% if you get this particular skill here. You want to increase that crit damage though, because it's stuck at a 5%. You know, the higher the percent, the better. That means you can proc it and just get that max crit damage. Alright, let me try to fix up some stuff. And then Panda says, what are the best in-slot S... Alright, so someone did mention unit abilities. I do need to point them out. Ahmed says, how do people farm for SA Skydance in Japanese server? Here's the funny story about that. It was the one ability a lot of people wanted. There were several limited quests that drop it. The ultra hard version of the virtual mining defense drops that S8 ability. The way I got my S8 ability of Skydance Boon is through the limited AC recycle shop. There is this shop that pops up during certain events, and if you have certain AC items, or if you have a bunch of AC recycle badges, you can trade an X amount in to get the pop item. Now, you cannot sell this, but you can use it for yourself, and that's how I got my Skydance Boon. there are emergency quests and limited quests that will drop them. But if you really want to get it easily without having to pay as much, you might want to get those recycle badges. They should be a tad cheap over there. I'm not 100% sure, especially since I kind of hint indirectly through my videos, like, you might want to invest in these. But, yeah. If I were to look at the price for Skydance Boom over here, let me see what it is. It's 135 mil. So, this can be a tad expensive. Let's see the price for our AC Recycle badge over here. So, the Recycle badges, let's round this up roughly to 2 mil. Now, when I had to trade in X amount of stuff to get this Skydance Boom, it's 40 of these badges. So, 2 million times 40. You will get 80 million. So you're just spending roughly around 80 million to get a S8 ability pop item. That is 100% guaranteed as long as you do... Well, you can't even get rid of it. The only way you get rid of it is if you intentionally get rid of it. S-class abilities you can forever keep unless you override it in some way or you just ignore the transfer process to carry it over. But yeah, this is technically 80 mil if you do it through the Recycle AC limited badge shop. The only problem I have is if Global will actually do that. It's a 50-50. Because Global did take some stuff out. They did add some stuff in. So I'm not 100% sure if that limited AC shop is there. There are going to be certain quests. The big one that a good chunk of people tried to spam and do to get it to drop naturally is the Mining Defense. The Virtual Mining Defense Ultra Hard difficulty. And since we're talking about S-class abilities for units, they can help you. It just depends on which ones you are aiming for. There are attack ones that you can go for, basic stat ones that are in HP and PP. Some of the ones you might want to go for is situational, quite niche, but it might help you in the long run. For example, there's a S6 ability called Over Limit. This is handy for those who want to play fighter and want to main the limit break, because this boosts maximum HP by 50% while limit break is active. 50%. So if you decide to use this certain S-class ability with, let's say for one, you decide to go fighter a 12. You are quite strong and tanky just with that combination. Guess what? If you have limit break along with that fighter class, that's gonna increase it even further. Then if you have this S-class ability on your units, this is going to give you a good chunk of HP when you're on limit break. And once again, you're kind of tanky with both fighter and a 12. Just having a 12 as a sub is just goddamn. Yeah, the receptor part, I can't vouch for you guys because it's like 50-50. It depends on how Global does it. If Global wants to really... I'm not going to use this particular word I really want to use, but if they really want to try to milk money out of you guys, they could put it into a battle pass, or they could put it into like a paywall of some sort, put it into a support AC scratch or Star Gem scratch. I don't know, like they should compensate for the lack of receptors. I feel like they're smart about what they're doing, but at the same time, if they don't really add receptors by episode 6, that means they really don't want to deal with like the programming, I guess. Because here's my thing about what Global's been doing with the augments and affixes, and I kind of am okay with them doing that, especially with the speed. I am pissed off at how they don't give you guys receptors, because that can easily cut corners and help you in terms of making certain formulas, especially when it comes to having 3 all-rounder abilities, or the 3 mid-game abilities like Astra Soul, Ether Factor, and Mana Rev together on a unit piece. But I gotta give them credit for making sure that some people don't really spend as much on augments and affixes. However, like, even though I say this, I know that a good chunk of people have been spending so much goddamn money on weapons and certain abilities that you can farm for easily once you get to endgame content. And some people are charging it a bit higher than usual. Like, You can definitely, you can be rich over there in global if you know your augments and affixes and the release and understand patterns and trends. Which is why I keep on saying, if I was there in global, I could have capitalized on all that shit, but I wasn't. So, I can't do that. But yeah, that's the thing. I gotta give some credit to Sega for being smart about it, because that means you guys don't need to spend as much, and that means you can put your money towards something else. But at the same time, I know some of you guys would want to try to do some of those affixes and augments. Ultimately, it's up to you to decide on that. Once again, I kind of hate how they didn't release certain stuff in a certain way and gave you guys options. But at the rate that they're going at, it's like, do you guys really want to spend as much if you're going on a 3 times, 4 times speed? Okay, so good chunk of people have been talking. I still need to organize my storage. My sis was right about how I was just going to be preoccupied with this, but I don't mind at all. Alright, so some of you guys are giving tips and advice in the chat as well. That's good. Oh, if you have 200 PP. What the fuck? Wait, what's my percent? Was it at 60? Let me see how this damn thing now. Oh wait, I'm not on Phantom, so that's why my PV is not even high. What happens if I swap to Phantom? Let's see. I'm not even at 300. Sad face. Yeah, Phantom Stream can help you boost. No, wait. What did I put on? Oh yeah, PP high. Goddamn, I hate saying PP. So what happens if it's not at 300? Are you gonna get like a different percent? 50%? I'm trying to figure out how you guys know it's like exactly at 300. I really need PP units if I want to capitalize on this then. George says, I've been buying recycle badges left and right because I know it's gonna take a lot of protects to make Guardians. Yeah, it's going to take... Unless you do it on a boost week. 20% of... Oh, okay, I get you. Alright, so it does require that stupid... Okay, I got you. That's how you go about it. Huh. You see? I don't really do deep thoughts with, like, skill... with math and stuff. Okay, so there it is. There's that conversion. Because I was staring at that. So that means I had to take whatever my PP is and then do it with the 20%. Same can be said with the critical damage. And then the max percent would be that. Yeah, the thing is, though, I kind of wish, like, they're spoiling you guys in terms of the enhancing the augments that you guys are doing. They gave you that the 0 cost boost. That is good. If you're a summoner, by the way, compress your candies. It does eat up a lot if you have a lot of candies, and using the service during this time, especially with 0 grind costs, your candies are going to be 0. So you don't need to worry about like dealing with some RNG and not having it to be at full enhanced. I do need to go on my summoner to display that. Because I compress all my candies during the time Japanese PSO2 have that little thing. Alright, so let me do a demonstration with glares. I don't remember if I did a 101 basic video with glares. I did mention absolute glare. I'm not sure about the glare abilities in themselves. Although, I do need to free up my goddamn storage space. There's too much crap. Too much crap. 1/5 of 300 is 60%. Right. Yeah, I didn't really think about that. Then again, I'm not a good source to go for when it comes to being technical about like certain skill stuff. Like I can point it out and say like, yeah, this is why it's doing this, but in terms of going into the mathematical side of things, yeah, that's not my forte. I'm good with numbers and of augments and effects, but not with skill stuff. I could if I give it some practice. And besides, if you know everything, it's gonna be a pain in the one, it's gonna be a pain in the butt to just remember everything. But then secondly, it's just that you kind of know everything. I don't like to do that. I want to have room to improve and learn. Like there's some stuff that I can teach you guys, and then vice versa, you guys can teach me some stuff. I'm not some, but I saved a lot of candy when I leveled up. Maybe good idea to compress it. Like, I'll get onto my summon and demonstrate how annoying it is. Especially how it can stack if you got so many of them. And if you got a lot of pets you need to put stuff on. And then... I do not know your name in the... I don't know if that's like... Is that Japanese characters? I don't know how I should address you, but you said, really, you should use 30% to get a slot. Yeah, you definitely want to use the ability add success, but it depends on what you're doing, because if you were finalizing a 15-star weapon with S-class abilities, you might have a chance to get it to an 8 slot. I have a video demonstration where I tried to do that, though. It was a pain in the butt. It took me at least an hour to try to get to an 8 slot. Having a bit more of a boost, especially like a 5%, will help you out. If you really need to, use a 40%. That's entirely up to you, though. I would try to make sure that it's close to 100 as possible. Oh, okay, so I think you're just talking into chat. Yeah, if you are trying to upgrade your finalized weapons, let's say a 14-star, 15-star that has a good chunk of S-class abilities, slap on junk S-class abilities onto them, because at least if you fail, like those 3 S-class abilities will not count towards that failure. It is going to stay forever at 100%. Everything else, though, that is a pain in the butt to deal with, but hey, look, you gotta gamble. Okay, so I think my music just stopped. How dare you, music. Let me get into affixing now. The thing is, I have a bunch of stuff in my storage because I've been hoarding onto all these goddamn glares. And I actually need to make this certain formula I need to make for the all-rounder ability. What my last unit piece I'm going to make is going to be a 5 slot. It's going to have Guardian Soul, it's going to have Returner 5, Crack 5, Absolute Glare, and Ether Factor. The thing is, I have to do an annoying little thing, which is to make Guardian Soul and then use a Soul Receptor to try to upslot that 4 slot into a 5 slot. Granted that, I also need to add other things within this Guardian Soul. I might need to add a Returner 4 or a Crack 4, or maybe both, to make my certain formula that I have to go for. There's a lot of manipulation with it. I really have to make a formula for it. I might actually do that in the... I will have to stop the stream around lunchtime on my end. And once this game goes into maintenance, it's going to go into maintenance. Note that Global is not going to go into maintenance yet. But in the afternoon, if I have time, I will most likely stream and actually demonstrate how I go about making the certain formula that I just mentioned. But yeah, I'm trying to think on how to actually get rid of this shit. I have a photonic glare, do I? Do I have a photonic glare? So I got a ton of glare at a 3 slot. Now, here's the thing, guys. In all honesty, if you plan to make a fix in augments, try to do it on a boost week. What I'm going to do is not do it on a boost week. The reason why I'm doing it is just because I have too many of these and I don't mind gambling them. I do need to hold on to this 5 slot and make sure that I plan it accordingly. But yeah. Okay, Lord says, what's the most effective way to make a force slot? Guardian Soul, Absolute Glare, Crack 5, Return to 5 with no receptors for global. So, yeah, there is an easy way. Some of my videos that I already made and posted up on YouTube do break it down. The one video where it says no receptors in it, that one you would want to look at. Actually, better yet, I'll pull it up for you. I think I have that formula. Let me stare at the links. I think I... Alright, so... I'm gonna give you the video that has it, but the one you're asking for specifically, I'm gonna be honest, that's gonna be a pain in the butt to go for. Because the big issue is the... what is it? Yeah, there's a big problem with that one. How can I explain it? There's a lot of risk involved in it. It is possible to make it, but it has a bunch of issues. I am trying to... The certain formula I just mentioned with the last unit piece that I have, I'm making it a 5 slot because of how difficult it is to try to squeeze all 4 of those abilities together. There's a lot of risk involved because you're gonna have to put a crack and or a returner on glares. The catalyst especially. And the catalyst is a pain in the butt. And with global now having receptors, it's gonna be even... it's gonna be annoying to try to do... It's just gonna be annoying. Because you're gonna risk. Like, one of these mid-game abilities you need to put on there is going to succeed. But then you have to risk with a catalyst. If someone said it was easy, yeah, no, that's a fucking lie. If you have receptors, it's a bit easier. But without receptors, you're gambling. You are gambling on a lot of things. And you need a shit ton of force slot protectors. You are paying a lot more. It might cost maybe, if I had to do it myself, it might cost me 300, 500 mil. But that's taking into consideration of like the prices over there in global, and then if I'm farming it, and then also me getting recycle badges if need be. It's gonna be a pain in the butt. What I would suggest, well, I can't even suggest that because you guys don't have receptors. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's just gonna be hard. You're gambling. You are hardcore gambling with all those things. Because the problem is that the fact that you're putting the glare catalysts on all these finalized things. Like, I don't like doing that. I try to avoid that. If I can do it with only one of them, I'm fine. But you're trying to put so many items on a fodder piece. Alright, so I think you guys are just talking amongst each other and giving tips and advice. The ECU says, so with my Trailblazer units at 6 slot with Acto Diesel, Mana Rev, Power 4, Arcs Fever, Arcs Max, and Grind Might, should I use these with Augment transfer passes when we get better units? Here's the thing. there's gonna be a lot of better abilities to go for. The glare abilities, especially like Metra, Varuna, Shiva, and Origin. Origin's questionable, but those those certain abilities, they give you a good chunk of attack and then some other stats like defense and PP and HP. So I would actually take glares over. Oh wait, you said mana rev. So mana rev is good to keep, but if I had some other reverie like the Fouls ones, Persona and whatnot, I might avoid using those just to use a glare instead. I would technically. No, you put a Grand Might. You could technically keep it and use it for something else. If I wanted to play with Fighter, for example, ECU, I would keep those abilities and add more to it, and just make sure that I have the certain S-class abilities I need for it. So, you can use it for different means. Now, if I were to try to use it for most of my characters, I wouldn't use it. Just because I would try to go for something that's a bit all-rounder and stuff. But then again, that's just me. You don't have to follow my personal taste and stuff. If you want to save money, I would say keep them then. And then just transfer it over. Or just, you know, upgrade that Trailblazer unit into a 13-star variant and just leave the abilities as they are. Alright, so wait, did you post something? I do not see the post. Yeah, Persona Rev is cheap because in terms of getting it, you can farm the, what is it, the Ultimate Quest, Remnants of the Other World. He drops a lot of Persona Rev, Persona Souls. He also has a chance to drop Fabulous Soul, I think. They did update the quests over here in the Japanese PSO2, or it's because I'm at a high stage level now. He is dropping Historia Soul as well. So if you need components for Mana Rev, or if you need a good chunk of Persona Rev, you can farm that guy. And then Farnder says, I'm new to PSO2, how do you get a S rank augment? It's RNG. Yeah, it's RNG, it depends. So you can get it sometimes on a 15-star weapon, or, well, I don't think 15-star weapons drops naturally. Other than the Affixia. 14-star, 13 stars, they drop them. There's also a chance where you get this small little capsule that gives you S-class abilities. I have a bunch of them over here. Let me pull them up. They don't get picked up automatically. You do need to pay attention on the field and when you break a crystal. They do have a light tone color to them. This is what it looks like. It's going to be S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. And then later on, you'll get the S6, 7, and 8. Seriously? Ultra hard is that hard? Well, there's a lot of things to consider. And with both Phantom and Etoile coming out, I think that's gonna make it a tad easier, but then the question is, what class are you really working with, and what class do you prefer compared to, like, those two? Because, like, let's say you don't want to use Phantom and Etoile right off the bat, there might be some difficulty. Okay, so I think this song is okay to play. Okay, so Augment passes. The only way you can get Augment passes monthly is through this guy over here, the Recycle Shop. Oh no, that's not the Recycle Shop, my bad. This one. This one over here. This is on a monthly cooldown. I released a video in episode 4. The moment they released it over there in Global, I advise those to get these passes, because if you want to manipulate certain things and don't need to deal with fucking RNG and deal with upslotting penalty, especially on your units, you want these passes. And if you have really good affixes and augments you want to carry over to some other equipment, you need these. It does save a good chunk of money, because like one of these unit pieces I spent 300 mil back then in episode 5, when I got back into Japanese PSO2, I still have it. I'm still using it. Now, it's not the best compared to like the things that are already finalized over here. It does give a good chunk of stats though. And I've saved this particular unit piece so I can use it for another ideal set that I plan to make. But yeah, I spent 300 mil back then to make this piece. It's kind of overkill, but you know, I'm gonna fix it, I don't mind. And I got a bunch of money because I had a bunch of stuff to get back that 300 mil I spent. This was pretty much an investment, a down payment. And guess what? I can still forever keep these augments and affixes because I do ability transfers. There is a way to abuse them. I already have a video talking about how you can get to higher slots, but the monthly way to get them is that way. The only alternative way to get more of these passes is if there's an event that gives them out, or you use rainbow keys. You guys are going to get this in episode 6. You will get roughly around 3 rainbow keys when you do these updated, better versions of the battle pass. There's like one at 35, I think, one at 30. That's overall is for everyone. And then you get one at 10 if you went the gold pass route. Oh yeah, also the titles. Now, over in the Japanese PSO2, the new one that we have, since we have level 100 cap, which is why I'm going to be power leveling most likely when the Sword Art Online collab kicks in. The thing is, they give, once you hit level 100 for a certain class, they give you 10 ability transfer passes. So there's roughly around, I think, 14 classes now. 14 times 10, you get 140. Granted that you can also get another chunk of, or a good chunk of, ability transfer passes if you have, what was it? If you have 10 classes at level 95. Let me make sure. Hunter, Fighter, Ranger, Gunner, Force, Techer, Braver, Bouncer, Summoner, Hero, Phantom Etoile, Luster. 13? It's only 13? Really? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So do 13 times 10. It's 130 passes you can get. And then a pal told me that if you hit certain thresholds, like if you have 5 characters at level 100, you can get a 50% ability transfer. No, 50% ability success rate boost from a particular title. So I'm gonna have to restock on gold keys and etc. But then Price says, hey Morph, I currently have Lightstream units and was wondering if it's worth transferring my affixes to liberate units or just skip it and wait for the crash to transfer them. Alright Price, so my question is, what do you have affix wise? Yeah, that's why you guys want to stock up on them. The moment they release it, I made a video just saying, hey guys, you may want to stock up on these because you want to get as many transfer passes as you can. Especially if you decide to push for an 8 slot, it's a whopping 100. It doesn't matter if it's on a weapon and unit. No matter what, if you get to try to push to an 8 slot with the ability transfer process, it's going to eat up 100 passes. And I've been eating up a good chunk of these passes. I think right now I have 263, but I didn't pick up the ones that I have on my title still. I could push it to 300, and then if I power level, I can try to get another additional 130, so that's going to be a higher number. Alright, so, hey there Kaido, how you doing? Yuri says, tips for fixing Guardian Sooo, please. Alright, so I have videos on it already. I say, without receptors, because that's what a lot... Unless they add receptors, it's like, it's going to be a pain in the butt. But I think this will... This is pretty much like the Guardian Sooo one that I did. It's a breakdown on if you didn't have it, and you're making it from scratch. Now, some of those formulas may not work because it involves receptors. And with Global not having receptors, that's an issue. So, price. You have it on your live stream, though. Artifact and mana rev. If it's just artifact and mana rev, I don't know what to say. How many slots does it have price? Laura says, Morph, I sent you my formula on Discord if you want to judge it. Alright, let me see. Is your name All Day? Crap. I got like a few minutes before maintenance kicks in over here. Astro Guidance Training Glare. Alright, so yeah, that's what I was having in my head. But there's a lot of manipulation with it. Because I still stand by what I said. You gotta have to... Wait a second, hold up. Why is it a grade 5? Because this does boost your chance, don't get me wrong. It will eat up a lot of money though, because you're using grade 5s to try to finalize it. Well, unless you already have a grade 5. Then I can understand the situation and I understand why you have that. I would honestly, since it's already a gamble, I would go with grade 4s instead. Actually no, it's... Okay, so... Okay, so I got mixed feelings about this one. I understand why you put a grade 5 though, because it does save up some slots and you don't need to put it on other pieces. I would personally try to get grade 4s, but me saying that, I already know that toying around with this formula that you gave me is going to be a pain in the ass. Now that guidance trainer, it's going to be a bit tricky to do that unless you already have the pieces and you farm for it, then it may not be a huge issue. But yeah. That's the one thing that will annoy me, the fact that I had to gamble with Astra Soul, a guidance trainer, and a glare catalyst and try to get it to succeed. However, to counteract this, if you have a bunch of fucking force slot protections, gamble the fuck away. So I will say that this formula can work. And it is possible, but it will be costly. Alright, so you're prepped and ready, Lord. So I would say go ahead and do it. I approve of it. Like I said, I would rather go for 4, but I understand why you go for a 5. Because it'll be a pain in the ass to try to get like all these different 4s into these different pieces. For Mana Rev, if one of the Reverie Catalysts I want to use is the Augment factor from Profound Weapon I didn't place yet, does it work or do I need to place the Catalyst on the weapon first? You're talking about SAFs, aren't you? To answer your question, Vag, Yeah, you had to place it first. You're referring to the weapons, right? When it comes to weapon SAF, you do need to get it finalized if you want to use that catalyst. Because if you don't do that, it's not going to register. It's not going to allow you to make that mana rev. So you have to put it prior to aiming for a mana rev. And thanks, Cal, for pointing that out. Yeah, like you guys... For endgame, you guys need receptors, because without them, some of these formulas are going to be a pain in the ass to go for, unless you did prep yourself, like how Lord did, and how he got a bunch of recycle badges just sitting as his storage. Those 4-slot protections are going to save you in trying to do some of these formulas. The problem is, like, trying to get Absolute Glare with it. That's the only main issue. There is a pop item to get Mana Rev, Astra Soul, and Ether Factor. But if you go for Guardian Soul, you can't get another Soul, so you can ignore Astra Soul. The problem is just getting that Absolute Glare, which is why trying to establish that in the beginning, that's going to be a pain in the butt. But then also, if you want Crack 5 and Return to 5 as well, you're going to have to add it prior to you doing a bunch of stuff. Wait, what do you mean no data? Shut up. YouTube, don't fuck up on me now. Okay, shit. I'm just here chatting with you guys. I don't mind chatting with you guys. It's just that I also need to pay attention to the fact that PSO2, Japanese PSO2, gonna go into maintenance. I will stream again in the afternoon, but I'll start doing a certain formula affix, and then I'll still talk to you guys about augments and all that. Yeah, once again, it's because of the lack of receptors, and that just annoys like certain things that you could easily skip and just have everything in one piece. Because if you have receptors, I would, instead of like having where's that formula that you showed me? So if I had a receptor, I would be able to most likely get a certain unit piece in this formula to both have ether factor and wait, hold up. In this formula, I do not see... How the heck? Okay, so there's the ether factor. Alright. So yeah, I would squeeze Astro Soul ether factor, and then I might also put either a returner or crack in that ability. Or glare catalyst. Either one of them. Because the thing is, to combine both Astro Soul and ether factor, you gotta use receptors. And when you do this process, they're both at 10% already. So, if I'm gambling the shit out of all of it, I might as well gamble another third piece and just use a bunch of forward slot protections to try to combine them all. It might eat up a lot of my meseta, a lot of my resources, but I would rather squeeze it and make the rest of the formula easy to try to get my ideal endgame affix. And then Hank says, hey Morph, on a side note about in real life, you mentioned in a video from 7 or 8 months ago you were about to join. I did post a video about it. You can watch it, but I can explain it in this stream. Pretty much, there's a certain incident that I had in the past when I was a baby. I have a certain scar on me, and it is visible, so I have to get the medical records for that. Problem is, from what someone explained to me in terms of getting medical records, it's stuck at a certain year, so it shows all of my medical history until 2005. Anywhere below 2005 and whenever I was born, it's actually in a certain place. It's going to be the National Personal Archives records. And I had to make a request from those individuals to get the history and report of what happened after that. Or, like, before that. Now, I know some people told me, like, hey, look, they could pull it up and stuff, but it could be because of my recruiter or, like, the meths that I'm going towards. They're a bit stern about these certain things, so they do want to see my records. If I don't show them my records and they see my scar and they ask, like, why do I not have these records and stuff, they might disqualify me, or 90% chance that they will disqualify me, so I don't want to risk that. The biggest issue with me trying to get these records, though, from that certain place is that Corona's been around and that certain building is locked. So, or it's closed because of fucking Corona. Meaning that I can't get those certain records. Now, I am going to try out something in a couple days and see if I could get those certain files that I need. But after that, I'm going to have to go to plan B. And the next video that will mention me getting, mention my status about me trying to join the military is either if I'm going to join or if I'm going to just dump the idea and just stick to whatever I'm doing. So yeah, it's a fucking pain in the ass because I've been waiting for months and then I only got that info. Yeah, I know, Jake. It's like in 30 minutes. And then Assassin says, how do you make absolute glare? That one's easy. It's like Mana Rev Astro at the factory. You need 4 glare catalysts, and then you need a photonic glare. Now, making the glare catalyst is a bit... it's not tricky, but you need certain things. And 2 of these certain abilities that you need is a pain in the butt over here in the Japanese PSO2. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, from what my dad also explained, he's ex-Air Force. He's a vet now. When he joined, he was able to get his medical records to pop up. But for some particular reason, with my recruiter and the MEPs I'm going to, they're a bit stern about it. And I do have a visible scar. I need to have those records. And I'm not going to gamble on the chance of getting in when they could see that. And they could ask me a bunch of questions and a chance to get disqualified. I don't need that. I want to try to get in. So if I have to wait, I'm going to have to wait. Only problem I have is hopefully... The only thing I wish is that, you know, by 2021 they have a vaccine and they can kill this damn virus. This virus has been pissing me off left and right. There's another little event that I was looking forward to in this year, in the year 2020, but this fucking bitchy virus thing popped out of nowhere and it ruined that moment too. So yeah, I'm kind of pissed off with how this virus has been cock blocking my ass. Anyway, that's off topic. Sorry about that, guys. Someone just asked about my status with the military. I do have a video on it once again, but yeah, that's the entire gist of it. What's the best affix to use for 4-slot insurance? For 4-slot insurance, it's anything that has a bunch of gambling percentage, and most likely that's going to be your all-rounder abilities. They think you might be into triads, laugh loud, JK. But yeah, that's my situation on that matter, whoever asked about the military. How do you upslot with Augment transfer passes? Alright, let me post that video because it's hard for me to try to explain it. Well, I explain it in my video, but at the same time, you will want a visual demonstration to get the gist of it. Alright, here it is. That's the link talking about ability transfer process. It talks about how to get these passes, and then goes further into details about the function, and then a bit more details about the actual abuse you can do to upslot. The only problem is you need a ton of ability transfer passes, and they do get released stuff. They release it monthly. The only other way to get a good chunk of these is through the rainbow keys. Which is why I tell you guys not to get them to expire, even though I got like 3 of them to expire last month. Those rainbow keys are good in giving you passes as well. They give you 5 for completing 1 run. They give you a lot of weapons and stuff you can desynth. And then they can give you grind caps as well. Now, I'm going to do something on stream. I'm going to be doing a couple of scratches, because the one scratch that has a special lobby action that I want, it's going to disappear after maintenance, so I need to do it soon. What I'm going to do too is desynth a couple 15 stars on stream as well. I'm most likely going to... Do I want to keep this? I might want to keep that. Do I want to keep this? Not really. I'm going to desynth. That's at plus 30. This is not at plus 30. I'll get rid of this. Actually, thinking about it, fuck. I need to stay at the max grind rarity too. Do I need these dusk? I am tempted to just kill them. I am most likely going to kill them. I'm going to kill you guys. What do you give? What's your SAF? I don't need you. I have a live stream for this. No, fuck you guys. That's a 5. Do I need a 5 slot? Nope, I do not need this. Now I'm keeping the million weapons in the bristle because, or the Krissa, how do you pronounce it? Krissa, because I'm not sure if future upgrades will require them. I am tempted to just kill these 14 stars. Yeah, I could trade it in for X cube though. I am gonna most likely get rid of these Aries because I am not using a fist shield whatsoever, and I highly doubt I'll use the S1 abilities. There's a lot of weapons I've just been hoarding in my storage because I'm uncertain about certain things, or I just been holding on to it as fodder pieces. I am gonna start emptying this out though, so I can free up my fucking storage space. Step shift ring. Okay, I cannot answer anything about the ring, sadly. Oh, damn it. Of course, it's gonna tell me I don't have storage space to actually descent a bunch of chunks. Hopefully that allows me to. Once again, for you guys, you might want to... When it comes to the 15 stars, if you descent them, you get a diehard for each one. Now, if you have a great success, you get more of them. I really need to work on these damn storages. Do I want this crystal to stay in my inventory? No. That has an S-class ability. I want to move that. Wait. No, I'm going to descent that. I'm going to The dust can go die for all I care. Alright, so you guys are like talking amongst each other. Did someone ask about crack 5? How do you get crack 5? It's pretty much like the process of trying to get a returner 5. If you have, or veteran resolve 5. Crack can drop... What? Crack 1 does drop in the ultra hard free field that you will get upon episode 6 release over there in global. It is farmable. There will be easier ways to try to get them, especially with the new extreme quests that I mentioned. Okay, so let me actually do something with these glares. I don't think I can make any glare catalysts in this stream. I'm lacking Angie glare. That's angelic. I do not need angelic. I have Angie glare, but this one, it's at a certain slot number I need to manipulate with. I need it to stay at 5 slot or higher. But I only have 3 of these. I thought I had a lot more, but nope, I do not. Then there's Dominius, but I do not have Dominius. I have a lot of other things too. There's so many things, but I don't know what to get rid of. Actually, no, I can figure out what to get rid of if it's a male outfit. Damn. Don't want to trade that in for recycle badges, though. I want to get rid of this Sonic suit, but it is... I might toss it. What the fuck? Okay, so... Here's the thing, some outfits can be expensive because it's just not there, and this thing is apparently high up there, and I don't know, I don't think it would sell at this price, just because it's a male outfit, and I don't think it has a lot of worth with it. I'm not 100% sure. I need to try it out on a dude. This is why I hoard a bunch of stuff. At the same time, it's like, will someone actually buy it? Now, if I decide to sell this, I wouldn't have a big issue with it. Or at least trade it in for a recycle shop. I mean, badge. Yeah, global can't have drug names. They'll change it. It's not gonna be called crack, sadly. It'll be funny if they do keep it like that, and I'll laugh. I'll make a video where I specifically laugh at that. I have novels, but do I need them at these numbers? Do I care? I might just get rid of these despite them having certain things. It's just taking up a lot of my space. And getting Guardian armor isn't... It shouldn't be that difficult as well, so I'm gonna trade these in. Alright, just need to look over these just in case to make sure. Wait a second, hold up. Just to make sure these things are not the ones that I think they are. Do you drop Doombreak? Doombreak 2. Okay, this is this is actually an important piece. I'll keep these two. Because that one has anti-glare. And I think you can abuse a certain function where you can try to pump out as many anti-glares. Oh, I actually need to swap this arm. Do I have another arm? Alright, so let me show you guys a quick trick when it comes to units. Or this is applicable to like any what is it? S-class. Anything that can hold an S-class, a weapon in our unit. Let me just find an empty rarity something. Do I need this H up? No, I do not. But I am keeping it because it's at an 8 slot. So what I'm gonna do, because I've been lazy about this particular function and thing. Do I have enough money? I think I have enough. So let's say I want to keep the ability that's on my arm over here. Is that the arm? No, that's the rear. My arm over here, just the regular attack up. It gives you like 30? No, 25 attack. So I want to keep this attack up. I want to swap it out and have the what is it? What is it? This attack up 2. Attack up 2 gives you 45. So it's 20 more than what it gives over here. So I'm going to select this, and what I'm going to do now is select this unit piece. Now in terms of its other abilities, I don't really care about them. I'm going to... Yeah, I guess I could put attack boost up. No, let's do astral attack, ether, doom break, and then do all these. That should be it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep everything. This attack up is not going to be on my main piece anymore. What I'm going to do now is move this attack up over here instead. And then it's an 8. It's going to be at an 8 slot. Now, this particular unit piece, just looking at it. So you see attack up is now on this piece. But this piece, I do not want it. Because it only gives a less attack 4. You can use this to your advantage to try to get like Eve abilities. But I'm not even going to mess with that. So I don't really need this particular unit piece. It is at a high slot number, but in terms of the other abilities it have, I don't care about it. So if I want this attack up though, and I want to trade this piece in, I'm going to have to swap it out with another S-class ability, or just swap this ability out in general. So what I'm going to do is, this is my Atlas weapon, or Atlas unit that I got as a random drop. I'm going to do this, going to move that attack up to that, get the HP over here instead. And then that's going to happen, it's going to cause a bit of a setup. But once that is established, it's on something that I will hold on to. So I'm going to put this back into my storage, and now I can get rid of that unit piece. What is it? 13 stars, so boop, 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 doot, 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 doot. I do have another attack up, but I think I got several of them. So I don't mind trading in this one that's at a low slot. I already got one that's at an 8 slot. And then I just got a good chunk of XQs from that. Was that 60? I guess it's 60 if I traded in 12. So how do augment factors with unit works? So let me find something. You just need to get it to plus 10. Unlike the weapons where you had to get it to plus 35 to actually unlock the SAF, units you had to get it at plus 10. Once you get it at plus 10, you can use the SAF for it. If I were to affix my arm, for example, actually let me work with something that is selectable. Let's say I wanted to work with this liberate rear. I want to say yes. I select the pieces. You can see that blue icon. Pretty much this means this is the SAF for it. It comes with the unit. The moment I use this unit and get rid of it, it will, one, make that SAF into a permanent ability. But this is the built-in special ability with this unit, a power 6, which is equivalent to a might 6. So I can do something like that, and then go on and affix, but I'm not going to do that. You just need to get it to plus 10, and you need to make sure it's at the right number of slots so you can use it in your formula. How many minutes? Alright, so let me actually do some gotcha stuff. Once again, I usually don't do this, but the scratch is going to go away for the Sinrin Kagura, and I do want that special bonus lobby action. I don't know if I have enough room though, because I didn't really clear out a bunch. I should most likely do this off stream, because I've been answering a lot of you guys. I will be doing another stream session after, I don't know, give it 2 to 3 hours, where I'll be working on a certain formula and you can ask me more fixed stuff over there. Yes, I do use what is it? Phrase decay on my Phantom rifle, on the Puros one. I am going to be moving to a different weapon though, but currently right now, the rifle I'm using, I do have phrase decay. I think I have room over here. Fuck, it's not a lot of room. I am tempted to spend some AC again on one of these other storages. I might need to. Alright, let me do some scratch, because once again, maintenance is going to kick in soon. This thing is going to disappear, and in terms of something that I want to get, I want this spider lobby action. Even though it could be a bit perverted, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to get this. Now, with me doing this, I try to keep the stuff that I pull and then get the star gems off of it. I do sell a couple of them with star gems, but most of the time I try to milk the star gems that I try to gamble and get. Now, I did not get anything good from that. Alright, that's Asuka. She is pretty cute. I don't know if I'm going to use her outfit though. You're kidding me. You gave me this. Alright, you gave me a boob pad furniture piece. I'll put that into the room later. What I'm trying to pull for are lobby actions in particular. I don't think I want anything else from this collab. Do I want anything else from this collab? I have no clue. Let me stare at that. So they got the Vocaloid one, but in terms of Sinrin Kagura... Okay, they got... Oh god, they got the fucking sensor flare thing. Alright. They got some hoodies, they got some weapon camos. If I get the weapon camos, I think that's kind of good. I could sell them later. Especially if the collab is gone and then it goes up in price. I am trying to get like... Oh, so there was PR post 4. I didn't know that was in the scratch. Why is... Oi, Jake, why are you stalking me? Oh god, that's like the 10-minute warning. Need to scratch faster. You can also get these protections by doing this as well. I was not trying to get a protection in all honesty, but, you know, it's a free protection. Actually, no, that came from the bonus, I think. Oh. Huh, okay, that's one of the things. Fuck. Alright, I'm gonna have to open up one of these damn things. Because it's a bother to... Putting all these damn fodder pieces in there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this, like, not in a stream next time, because me trying to organize my storage while talking about fixes and stuff, yeah, it's gonna distract me. Alright, continuing on with this scrap. Oh, of course you would fool around while I'm doing this. Alright, so to get the certain thing, it's 29. So let us continue doing this. Of course I get the other boo pap, alright. Morph, what 3 affix would you use for your craft weapons? I do need to spoil something that I have to do in a separate video. Well, I will have to talk about something that caught my attention in a separate video. I'm actually interested in toying around with that weapon camo. Here's the thing. What's your intent? Well, actually, no, I know what the intent is. Pretty much, for your craft weapon, I would say go for a good chunk of damage. Like, you definitely want to try to capitalize on all 5 S-class abilities. But what abilities you want to go for, I have no clue. You could try to go for a Guardian Sooo on your weapon. But in terms of the other abilities, it depends. Like, if I were to go with a rifle, I would actually put Phrase Decay in there. And then maybe have, like, a Grand along with all 3 of those abilities. Shit. I got 7 minutes. I am still not done with this damn thing. What I might end up doing... Draw 12. I don't think I pulled anything good because I don't see a pop-up pop-up. Okay, 3 more. And apparently I think I just filled up my fucking inventory. Of course I filled up my inventory. Put all this shit. Alright, I got the bonus lobby action. And then Thomas says, so I see you are only doing single draws. Is it better percent to get good items than a multiple draw? It depends on you yourself. I would take my sweet time with it, but I decided to do the multi just because maintenance is going to kick in soon. And I need to try to breeze through this. Fuck. Shit. Alright, I'm done. I'm not going to use the 2k ACs that I have because I'm not going to reach that other, what is it? The other thing that I can get. So I don't know what this spider lobby asking looks like. And since I only got one of these selector tickets, I might as well use it. The one I need to get will be... a lobby action. And I'm gonna select this. The lobby action I need is the Sinrin Kagura one. I already got the PR pose 4. I did buy that yesterday. But yeah, I'm just gonna buy this and I should be good. I think they have the hair for these characters as well. Yeah, they do have the hairstyle for them. This will disappear by maintenance. Oh, that looks kind of good on Sherelle. They're not going to be as expensive, but it will jump in price later, especially if they don't do a revive for this. And let me just display what it looks like over here. Maintenance is about to kick in for the Japanese PSO2. So, when that happens, I would say wait for maybe 1 to 2 hours and then I'll be streaming again. And I'll be working on a certain affix through Affix Simulator and I'll chat with you guys a bit more in terms of affixes and stuff. So Price says, would it be optimal to make a 3-slot Guardian Soul and use the 4-slot Insurance, then transfer to an 8-slot Crass? Yes. That's what I did. That's what I did when I made my Crass weapon. Actually, I do have a video on that. Should be somewhere. Richard said, is it worth using passes to get a 2-slot Guardian Soul to 8-slot weapon? Depends. Like, here's the thing. If you can do it for a weapon, you can do it. I would do it, especially if I do Guardian Soul. But at the same time, you're doing it for a weapon. Most of the times, you could try to gamble. Depends on you. That's the end factor. For me, I did it because I don't want to gamble with some of my final affixes, and I wasn't using my ability passes for like anything else. Other question is, do you have enough to do weapons as well along with the units, or are you okay with doing it with upslotting an 8-slot weapon? Christ says, are you selecting multiple items at once? I've been pressing shift and selecting each item individually. You mean in terms of putting it into my storage? I do the shift mechanic. So if I wanted to put all this in there, I would hit the shift key. Alright, so let's see what these lobby action looks like before maintenance kicks in. Now, the only reason why I did this scratch is because I want that limited thing. Oh, wow, okay. It's like that chain one that they release. Is there anything else I can do? Oh, okay, so I can get out of that. What does the Sinrin Kagura one look like? Oh. Oh, I get that. It would be funny if it actually exploded. Oh, is that it? Shit, that pissed me off. I'm okay with it, but at the same time, it's like they gotta explode. And then Richard said 3 months and I will have around 250. So if you're okay with using those passes, then go ahead and do it. What does the male version of this look like? Alright, see you later, ECU. I might extend the stream a bit more because I got nothing else to do. Do I actually fall off of this? What's going on? Actually, that's why. Goofy. Okay, I just forgot. That was at a certain kind of angle. Yeah, if they're gonna do Sinrin Kagura stuff like that, I need to see nudity, because that's the point of the game. Now, if you're staring at me with like a weird expression, Sinrin Kagura is quite perverted. If you know what it is, then yeah, it's something. And they have that lobby action, and if you can guess, like that explosion on them is the fact that their clothes blow up. And there's the maintenance! Alright, so what I'm gonna do is now just pull up something on the screen while I just chat with you guys. I'm most likely gonna end the stream at 12:45. Well, in 45 minutes. Let me pull up an affix simulator though. Haha. No. I need to leave. So yeah, Japanese PSO2 is now officially in maintenance. So now I can try to focus on what you guys are talking about. TY says, do you feel like NA will get the same acceptance in capsules Japan has? I lean on the fact that Global will most likely get those capsules. I'm not 100% sure with the receptors. Pink says, not a fixed question, but are iron weapons worth it, or spend materials on a newer weapon? Iron weapons, well, is this in preparation for global side? Oh, excuse me. Let me rephrase that. Are you playing on the global side, or are you playing on the Japanese side? Because if you're playing on global, I will say that craft units, or the iron weapons specifically, you would want to get them. And you may want to have multiple dupes of them compared to like Atlas EX or the Lightstream. But yeah, that's my giant question. Thomas says, the oh my god settings. And then Gas says, hey Morph, can I upslot mana rev and ether factor using Aug transfer, or is it just possible using the factor receptor? You can do both. Now, the only problem with you doing the first option and making sure that it can succeed with 100% is if you have the pop well, yeah, the first option is the pop item. The only way you can get the pop item for an ether factor and or a mana rev is to get it from the mission batch shop, which I have no clue if Global will add that immediately upon episode 6 for Global. You will get it eventually, because that is a thing, but I don't know when. That's to answer your first question. The second question, yes, you can still do it, but if you're playing Global, you guys don't have receptors. And also note that if you do try to upslot, it's going to be at a low percent. And let me actually demonstrate this. Let me make sure I'm on North America. Note that even though I use receptors in this affix simulator, Global does not have these still. Let's say I'm only going to leave it at a 1 slot. Actually, no, there's a problem right there. So here's the main issue. You need to make the mana rev. Like, if you have a finalized mana rev, there's no reverie receptor to get it to the up slot. So you will have to... Actually, it would be easier if Persona was there. Then Omega. Oh god, this is gonna be a slight headache then. Oh, there. Persona, Aprigina, Gemini. Who am I missing? Is it Luther? Is it the loser? It's Luther. Oh, that's another issue, isn't it? Is it Omega? No, it's not Omega. You need Memoria. Omega Memoria. So yeah, the problem with you trying to upslot with both an ether factor and an ether factor and a mana rev is that you need to make the mana rev. So is it Memoria? Wait, why the fuck is this not working? Luther, doof. Oh wait. I'm a fucking dumbass. Okay, no, I need those catalysts, not the damn things. Duh. This is how you do it, Morph. Shut up, I had a brain fart. Oh. So yeah, if you were trying to upslot without any if you had like the factor receptor and you have an ether factor, then you're dealing with something like this, and the percent is not in your favor. Now, you can manipulate and work with that mana rev, but this is just like the basic gist of it. If you had more abilities, it's a pain in the butt to work with, because that means you had to consider all these other abilities that you may want to try to transfer over. Hopefully this answers your question, Gas. Cruz says, do you think there will be a weapon SAF for Guardian Soul down the road? If they were able to release an easier way for Veteran Resolve and Returner, I got a feeling that they might go past that threshold and be like, yeah, everyone can get an SAF for a Guardian Soul. I don't think they will do that immediately. The time that they will release that easy method might be before NGS comes out. I might be wrong though, because Global surprised me when they released that easy method to get Returner 3 and Returner 1s. Veteran Resolve 3, Veteran Resolve 1. What they might end up doing is making it easier to get the glare abilities, so instead of having like... what is it? They might have some new weapon series that can give you an SAF of a glare catalyst, like how they have it over there in episode 5 with the, what is it, the profound weapons, or the stuff that you get from the Persona emergency quest. Like, their SAF is pretty much a Reverie catalyst, which allows you to cut corners and have 100% guaranteed on the Reverie catalyst. So it's a possibility. I'm not 100% sure on when, but they are releasing easy ways to get these augments and affixes, and that kind of leads into a certain speculation of mine with when we go to NGS and how these things that we have may not have a huge factor into it. Not 100% sure on that statement alone, because once again, there's no actual answers to those sort of questions yet, and it's just me speculating. So Richard said, SAF Guardian Soul is too OP. I mean, here's the thing. Funny story about like how I feel like episode 4 kind of ruined how they went about SAFs. Because in episode 4, note that Astro Soul was quite the hard ability people were trying to make and go for. And during episode 4, I kind of got pissed off extremely with SAFs. Because I didn't mind the other abilities. I understood like why they had it for modulators and like power abilities and stuff. But the big thing that they did in episode 4 was they made Astro Soul easy to get through weapons. They made that SAF for an Astro Soul. Now, in all honesty, I felt like they did it a bit too early, and people who didn't really go out of the way to make Astro Soul now got Astro Soul easily with that SAF. But if you realize, or if you look at all these other weapons and stuff, there's no other way to get some of the end game abilities for like an Ether Factor or a Mana Reverie. It's only Astro Soul that is that exception where it's like, hey look, there's an SAF for it. I feel like whoever was running things during that time in episode 4 fucked up a bit. I would be fine if they did it with like the Catalyst instead, but in terms of making the final product, yeah, that's a bit too broken, especially during that time in episode 4. Granted that it could be intentional and like it was at least one of the easy abilities, so you can try to aim for Guardian Soul down the line. I don't know how well thought or how planned out they were in terms of the development and going down the path that they went through. I'm not 100% sure with what I'm going to say in terms of the development, because I feel like they changed a lot of the head honchos. You can obviously feel it as well, because in episode 1 to 3, it was under some dude that had a certain plan and they did the things that they did in episode 1 to 3. But then episode 4, it changed drastically to the point where the story was different, and then also how you went about different mechanics, and it kind of overwrites the stuff from episode 1 through 3. Then you got episode 5, where pretty much we go into a fantasy aspect of fantasy world and, you know, conflict and stuff. Some people have mixed feelings about it. Some people liked it. I, once again, haven't done the story yet. And then episode 6 is where it's kind of getting back on track to what it happened and what had happened in episode 1 through 3. And it did add the stuff from episode 4 and 5 along with it. But once again, I'm not 100% sure on how well thought out they did all these things. It is a fucking 8 years development though. And we are coming to that conclusion with episode 6. So each one of these guys that were running these different episodes, they had a different mindset. So yeah, if they make things easier, it's because they're hinting at certain things, and obviously NGS is coming around. That can be a good and a bad thing, but I can't really, you know, give my thoughts yet because there's no actual statement about it. I have speculations, thoughts, and theories, but like I shouldn't share them unless we get some concrete proof of it, or you know, got something to at least clear up some of these questions and doubts. Because during the first release of NGS and talk about how your gear is able to carry over with some augments and affixes and with some limitation, they didn't go into exact details about it. They concentrated more on the things that people cared about, which is the fashion side, especially for Japanese PSO2. It's 8 years worth, especially if they're still playing the game ever since 2020. That is a big investment. If they're still playing the game now, guess what? Their account is stupidly fucking expensive. Like my account, even though I started in 2014, it is stupidly expensive because I spoiled the shit out of them with 8 years worth. Like I have a certain collab item on me that is expensive. It's like 10 fucking billion if I had to put numbers behind it. And like there's several other accessories and items that are just from the past and you can't get them anymore, or it's just fucking rare. So yeah, it's 8 years. Goddamn 8 years. Anyways, let us get back on topic and talk about this stuff. Hey there, Ikun. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. What augments should we be looking to hold onto or sell on global? Big one's glares. Hold on to all the glares. Why? Because glares are needed to make absolute glare, which is then needed to try to go for guardian. So let me talk about these glares because some people ask me about these abilities. So here's the thing about glares. Glares, they're easier to manipulate and toy around with because you don't need 3. Most of these abilities that you work with and to get the maximum percent to try to transfer it over, 3 is your magic number. But glares, they ignore this because you only need 1 or 2. 2 is the max to give you the most success. So let me pull something like Shiva Glare. Shiva Glare by itself, only a 30%. You can transfer this. 2 of them is going to be a 50%. Any more than that is going to be a waste, but this is good because guess what? This is an ability that doesn't require 3, which means you can try to manipulate this a bit easily, or you can try to gamble this with just 1 of itself. It's Icon, by the way. Gotcha. I was thinking about that. I was like, is it Icon or is it like a bit Japanese to it? But gotcha, Icon. So yeah, this is pretty much what you can do with glares. Now, to make... Oh god. So, to make an absolute glare, it is a bit of a pain. But it's more on the glare catalyst because there's alternatives and things you gotta consider. So let me talk about the process to make absolute glare. So absolute glare, you need 4 glares and then you need a photonic glare. Now, most of the glares you are going to get through episode 6 you would want to hold on to and keep. And they will have value down the line. So, wait, hold up. Who the Oi. Why is this not registering? Why did that not... Hold up. I feel like something's wrong. Okay, so apparently North America does not have that registered in yet. That's something to note. But let me go back to this panel. Pretty much this is how you make absolute glare. If you have 4 glare catalysts, 1 photonic glare, you will be able to get a glare catalyst, absolute glare at 60%, use a 40%, you get it to 100, use a 30% with a 10% boost, you get it to 100 as well. Now you might be wondering, how do I make these? Let me talk about photonic glare first, since it's the easiest. Photonic glare will need 4 abilities. It's gonna need origin glare. Origin glare you get from fighting Primordial Darkness, the giant boss that you saw in a couple previews for the Japanese PSO2. You're gonna need Shiva glare. It's the new chick that you see in the episode 6 promo. Varuna glare, it's the simp, it's the knight. And then you got Metra glare, who wants and loves Shiva, I guess. I don't know the entire story. But the thing is, you need these 4 glares to make a photonic glare at a 10%. It is going to be at a 10%. It's pretty much like your Omega Memoria for, what is it? Mana Reverie. Now, here's the thing about the glare catalyst. You can do that HHH, but it takes a bit of manipulation. So here's the thing about the glare catalyst. You got 2 ways to kind of go about this. You're gonna need, at the very least I can tell you this, you need either Vlog, Ford, Execore, and I think that's it, yeah. You need these 3, that's a definite. You need these 3 abilities to try to go for glare catalyst. The 4th ability, this one can be the Angie, or it's gonna be Dominius. Now without these, you're gonna have a problem. You can't make a glare catalyst. You can use Dominius, and then you see the option to get glare catalyst. You can use Angie, you can also do it. Do not try to use all 5 of these because it's kind of a waste. Because you just need 1 of these 2 abilities. So, Angie or Dominius. The new urgent quest that you guys are getting upon episode 6 release, you will want to spam it. You will want to do as many runs as you can, especially since it's going to be new and active. Farm them, because guess what? Angie and Dominius are the hard ones and the scarce ones over on the Japanese side. Because 1, they drop from these particular emergency quests, these urgent quests. Angie wasn't as bad, but it's long gone. It wasn't a seasonal quest. But even then, the drop rates for its certain ability on a unit piece was rare. Or it's RNG. So, you want to hold on to all of these glares. Now, Execore is actually the easiest one, especially when... Well, actually, no. Scratch that. Execore, Vlog is questionable. Execore, Varuna, Metra, and then later on Shiva and Origin. They're all common ones. So, you could you could hold onto it in terms of using it for your own augments and affixes. If you try to sell them, that's debatable. If people aren't aware of how easy it is to farm for it later on, you could capitalize on that. But it's not going to be as expensive. Now, the thing about Varuna Metric Glare, though, and Shiva, even Origin, they're good in terms of what they can offer. If you look over here on the left-hand side, you see that they do give a good chunk of multipliers. Now, some of these might not interest you, but in terms of comparing it to something like a Reverie, glares are nice because it emphasizes on defense as well. The thing about the Reveries is that if you use something that's not a Mana Reverie, or not any one of the good ones, like let's say you use the Fowls Reverie. Don't get me wrong, they do excel well in certain things. It's just that it does have a backlash to it. It has minus multipliers, and I don't like that. But these things over here, the glares, they have a lot of plus stat multipliers. They can emphasize on your defense, your HP, and your PP, along with some of the attack. Depends on which one you go for. Like, you can also go for any of the other glares as well. But it's going to be higher in terms of its defense towards something else. Overall, it's just that these things are just going to give you a boost in most of your stats. Yeah, Vid, I kind of made a mistake with that. And then Nam says, hello, how do you get your hands on a factor receptor? That, if you're playing on the Japanese PSO2, it's PSO2 ES. There are certain quests that you need to do over there, and there are certain runs that can give you a factor receptor. Usually, I think it's from a big event. Global PSO2 cannot get factor receptors, sadly. They might fix that. I'm not 100% sure. They might add that in episode 6. I don't know. Global didn't add these ever since. And they don't have PSO2 ES over there for Global. So they gonna have to find some way to compensate for that. If they ever do that. Noct says, why some certain augments cannot be affixed and only able to be transferred? Like Exceed Energy. It's just programmed like that. It's just a special ability. Exceed Energy needs that receptor. Now, for this particular receptor, you can get it. It's just that it's behind scratches. Now, you can buy it from the player market, but just know that it's going to be expensive. So, some abilities that are special, like Exceed Energy, like even if you try to stack it, it's not possible. The same can be said with Mark abilities. The same can be said with Divine abilities. And I don't know if there's one other ability. But yeah, those abilities, once you get it on a weapon, it's pretty much stuck on it. Now, you can't... Other than the Mark abilities, you can... Yeah, Mark abilities can be placed on units, especially with the pop item. Exceed and Divine abilities, they cannot be used on a unit yet. Japanese PSO2 might release these pop items, but yeah, there's just some abilities that can't be transferred. Let me get the receptor though for this thing. So, the one to transfer Exceed Energy is going to be an Exceed receptor. It's going to be 100%, as long as you do not upslot. The moment you upslot, that 100% is going to go down. It depends on how many slots you're going for as well. But yeah, if you try to push it to an 8 slot, just be careful. I would say, if you get it, try to finalize something, stay at that slot number. So if you get to work with an 8 slot, try to get everything at an 8 slot, and then affix at that 8 slot. Unless you do the ability transfer process, which then allows you to cut corners. Alright, so... HJ says, dang, I want to make Guardian Sooo with crack. And it says, sup, Morphs, nice to see you stream again. And I hope you're right about pop items for Glare, though. That might be pretty nice. Yeah, they might add it eventually, because if they add... Okay, so once again, just to stress this out, if they add a way to get returners, the original way to get returners was from Abduction. And that was 8 years. 8 years within that time span. I don't know when they did with Abduction. I know they introduced that concept in episode 1 or 2. But yeah, if they add something easy to farm for that has been a pain in the ass to farm for 8 years, that means Sega is going to make it easy in terms of augments and abilities. But that kind of hints at some stuff, which again leads into some speculation which I can't give out yet, just because there's not a lot of answers to some of these questions that people may have. Theta says calculator was last updated. Oh, calculator was last updated around April. Might be missing glare formulas. Definitely missing Guardian Sooo formula. I'm guessing that's for the NA side. I know that I used this to make Guardian Sooo for the Japanese, but I don't think they added a new ability called Ligged. Or did they? Oh no, they did add these. So let me tour around with this thing. Okay, yeah, I have no clue how you can move these Ligged abilities around. Now you might be wondering, what is this ability I'm bringing up? Ligged abilities come from that new Extreme Quest. They pretty much excel over the Alter, the Flints, the Sentence abilities, and even the EV abilities. They give a whopping plus 40 in the attack. It depends on which one. If you go for Arma, it's going to emphasize on your melee. Trios get to emphasize on your shoot. Magics get to emphasize on your T attack. But it gives a whopping plus 30 HP and plus 3 PP. Now, some of these other abilities I mentioned might be able to excel in those fields. Like the Sentence abilities can give you a whopping plus 40 PP instead of 3. But once again, you got to consider the other things like the HP and the attack. So, these abilities, I don't think there's a way to work with them yet. Eventually, there might be a way to work with them. Yes, the return abilities dropped from the new quest, but it's been 8 years. 8 years in terms of the length of PSO2 that they made returner farmable. Because the only way to farm for returner before the new Extreme Quest was out was through abduction. And that happened ever since like the beginning of time attacks. So yeah, it's like if they're releasing a way to get returners in this day and era, especially with like how we're already at endgame content, that means PSO2 is going to release easier ways to get some of these abilities that might be hard to get. Or some abilities that are hard now will be easier to get later. But this is just me saying stuff, and most likely I might be true on that aspect, because they've been making it easier and easier in terms of various things for Japanese PSO2. And guess what? That will carry over to global. And then Eternal's like, and I have lunch right now. Time to compare NA JSON files because I don't update NA because I don't play NA. Yeah, I mean, you know, you can choose either one of the two. Just note that if you do play on the Japanese, it's going to be different, and it's just that there's not a lot of promotional events that can help you, aid you in going through Japanese PSO2. I will make a video guide for those who might be interested in that. But yeah, it's a different feel, and note that people are pretty much aware in terms of the market. Because over in the global NA PSO2, you could capitalize on some things that people aren't 100% aware of. But then on the Japanese PS2, you try to do the same tricks. People are aware of some of the things you're trying to do. Assassin says, so should we ditch Persona Rev for the glares? Alright, so this is where this falls onto you. Even though I say glares are good in my books and stuff, this also... My say is just my opinion and my advice. When it comes to you guys having finalized stuff, you might want to carry it over, you might want to change it up. It depends on your budget, depends on if you're okay with doing that sort of motion. Like, if I really want to be cheap about it, I would just wait until everything is at the end game, and then start doing final fixes on all the gear that I can get, or on all of the end game weapons and units that I can get, and then finalize it there. And then it also depends on how you want to play the game, because once again, if you like to affix, if you want to stay up to date during the time and moment, then do what you need to do. Just, once again, affix smart and farm smart. And I think a good chunk of you guys can capitalize on the market a bit more before it starts to settle down and people are going to be aware of like this, and this. HHH says, well, NGS is coming out soon, so why not? I mean, that's the thing. That's the major thing that I want to talk about. But once again, it's only speculations. Until I get the actual answers to some of the main questions, then, like, I don't want to say what I got. Unless you guys want me to. Because I'll share it, but just note that this is just speculation out of my ass. So, person in the I think it's Japanese characters. I apologize since I can't read your name. So, on my recipe, I have 4 Sock Guardians, so Returner 5, Crack 5, and Doombreak 3. Since Glare is kind of late, and add Capsule for the rest. But what do you think? And Doombreak 3 is pretty easy to get. If you are trying to... so, this is where I'm going to be a bit blunt with my opinion. Note that this is just my opinion. I would not put a Doombreak 3... because it's not a huge all-rounder. Now, once again, this is my opinion. I understand that Doombreak 3 is easy to use. But if I were to go out of my way to go Guardian Soul, Returner 5, and Crack 5, I could try to go out of my way to go for something that can emphasize on all these different stats. Like, try to get Mana Rev or Absolute Glare, but... But then again, once they, well, like you said, there's that chance that they might have a pop capsule for Absolute Glare later. I don't know when they will add that. I would just stick with the 3 slot in all honesty. I wouldn't even add a Doombreak 3, but once again, this is just my opinion. If you want to go with it, go ahead and do that. You can pretty much overwrite that in due time as well. Because if you do the ability transfer process right, you can overwrite stuff. So... you can get rid of that Doombreak 3 later down the line for an Absolute Glare. I would say that's fine. Like, despite what I just said, it is fine. You can definitely do it. It's not going to hurt you, especially, once again, if you know how to manipulate it. And I just realized my music is dead. Where is my music? So yeah, that's a fine formula to do, and you can overwrite that. You can definitely overwrite stuff with pop items. Because if you finalize something, you don't like it, eventually you can overwrite it. And you can also replace that Doombreak 3 later with a markability instead. I guess that's another option to do, thinking about it. You could just use something temporarily until you get those pop items. So you can go for like a Guardian Silver Turner 5 and a Crack 5 and then use something as the 4th ability. But me mentioning the ability transfer process, that does eat up the transfer passes. So a lot of factors that you gotta consider. This is why I say you want to stockpile on those ability transfer passes. This is why I make announcements saying like, hey look, there's gonna be a month reset, you would want to grab these before that month reset kicks in. Hopefully that's some insight to you. I would say, despite what I just said minutes ago, like that's a fine formula to go for, and if you can override it later and you have the necessary materials to do that, go for it. It's not gonna hurt you anyways, it's just that personally for me, I wouldn't really tamper around with that. I might just leave it at a 3-slot and all, see with Guardian Soul, Returner 5, and Crack 5, and then later on increase it. But the only problem with me trying to do that in a very safe method is the amount of ability transfer passes I need. Alright, so any other questions? I guess I could work out that certain formula that I need to do. So let me get rid of all these different panels. The formula that I have in mind is going to be Guardian Soul, Absolute Glare, Ether Factor, and... Guardian Soul, Absolute Glare, Ether Factor, Crack 5, and a Returner 5. Now, this in itself is a pain in the ass to go for, because there's a lot of manipulation behind it. It might cost me a lot more than I need it to be, but as long as I farm for these certain pieces and I gamble with these pieces, and if they succeed, shouldn't be as bad. It then counts says, where do you get Catalyst Receptor in Japan? That is a... Catalyst Receptor is behind a paywall. It's going to be Star Gems or ACs. And then a guy in the Japanese character says, yeah, I have around 130 at the moment, and the new Sonic pack has 30, I think. It's 195 Augment passes for full set. So if you don't mind doing that, and eventually once they have that pop item for Absolute Glare later, by the time they do release that, you might have a lot more passes by then. Go ahead and do your formula and your fix. HHJ says, for the future content in NA, I will need Glare Catalyst with Double Crack 5, maybe. You could gamble. Like, the thing is, if you get a gamble with a good chunk of percentages that are, like, just atrocious all around, you want 4-slot protections, and you want to try to do these different risks, because there's a chance that you can get all of these to work. But once again, it can eat up a good chunk of your Meseta if you didn't buy a lot of those recycle badges and 4-slot protections. Which is why, if anyone asked me about some tips and tricks, like, especially, like, back then, I told them, stock up on those 4-slots. Like, even though Global is a bit more heavy, and they have stupid prices, and they inflate stuff, and they're whales. Even I'm a whale. You guys saw me do a couple of scratches earlier. But the thing is, even all that, the recycle badges, they were at a low cost for some magical reasons, and you want to capitalize on that, because if you get to do some of these endgame stuff without having to pay as much, those protections are going to save you a lot of time. Now, when people realize how important these are, that's going to increase in value, especially if they start releasing limited AC recycle shops over there. That's gonna increase the price for those badges and almost all the other cosmetic items. People may not be aware of it right now. I don't know what the price is over there for Global, but that's why I've been saying on the down low and indirectly, you want to get these. If you've seen my videos on how I make my Guardian Sooo, like you'll see me use those 4-slot protections. And if you caught on to that, it's like, oh, I want to get these. Can you make it all attack 300 units in Japan? Yes. And does it require Guardian Sooo? No. I'll send you the one video I have. My attack 400. I made 2 particular unit pieces. One of them had 420. The other one is a 400 attack unit. Pretty much the timed abilities allow you to get to that. Does this explain? No, this is like gathering the pieces stuff. Where's the one where I went about making pieces? Actually, no, it's like me making. Okay, making fodder. Should be that one. I think I have a breakdown on this one. Do I have the link? Alright, so I'll send you 2 links. One of them is the original breakdown by using the Affix simulator that is on the screen right now, where I tell and explain how I got the 400 attack. This is pretty much avoiding the Guardian Sooo. The only problem with me using this formula is that there is a bit of manipulation with the receptors, I think? I don't remember. Actually, let me pull that thing up. Okay, I don't remember how I went about doing this. You'll need to watch that video in its entirety to get the gist of it. But there are formulas that can emphasize a lot more than the all-rounder attack stuff. Like, if you're gonna go for Guardian Sooo and all these other all-rounder abilities, it's because you want to emphasize on all these other stats. But if you want attack, HP, and PP, you might want to capitalize it further with certain abilities that can do that. I think Kevin says, hello, Morphsuit. I hope you're doing great. I had a question. What would be better for Atlas EX rifle? S3 aggressive will or any Sooo with plus 30 attack? It was on an Atlas. Let me type the name of that ability up because I do not know what that is. Increase damage by 2. Okay, so what weapon is your Atlas EX? How many slots do you have? Do you have an 8 slot, 7 slots, 6 slots? HHH says it's around 500k on ship 2, on global at least. Yeah, I was... Yeah, the 2% is better than a flat number. But I'm just curious too if you actually have like a high slot weapon with like all these other S-class abilities as well. And then HHH says for the... Wait, Damn, Count has like 3,000 badges saved. Jesus. King says, can you make all... Okay, I already talked about that. I don't know if you're able to link it through the chat. You could see if you try to post up the link if possible. And I don't know if I'm the only one that can view it. I might need to repost it if I'm the only one that can view it and it gets deleted. 6 slot, I was planning adding S1, S2, S3, S4, mod precision 6, and maybe a grand precision. I can make it 7 slots as well, it's a bit of a risk. 7 slot would be a good number. Like 6 slot, I got some issues with 6 slots. Now, this is just my opinion. If you are under a certain budget and you don't want to gamble as much, understandable, but 7 slot is kind of that middle between, like, you got that 8 slots that you want, and it's a bit better than a 6 slot. With the boost week, it should help you, but once again, it's ultimately up to you, my dude, when it comes to upslotting, because it is a pain in the ass. Like, if you've seen my video where I try to upslot a weapon to 8 slots, like, it's fucking atrocious. So, it's understandable if you want to stay at 6 slot. If you are staying at 6 slot, then take that damage more than the Sooo, for sure. And once again, damage is just... a percent damage is better than a flat number damage. Now, I don't know about adding that grand precision. You might not want to do that because... I would do it to spoil the particular weapon and if it's at maximum stuff. And I don't know if you plan to move on to the better equipment that will be released. Since Global's going at a fast pace, you do need to consider that. So I wouldn't spoil the Atlas EX with a grand. I would wait for maybe something that I know that I'll use for a long time. Like maybe an endgame weapon, or if you really want to, you could do it for the next weapon series right after the... the Revelate, the Liberate. Now you can put that ability on the Revelate Liberate, it's just that they're not that... they don't have as many S-class abilities. They do have a good pot, I'll admit to that, but in terms of S-class abilities, you only got S4 and S5. And personally for me, I think S-class abilities just have an edge over basic abilities. Granted that some of these abilities are something you want to get, depending on the class and situation. Phantoms, for example, they might want to get that phrase decay because they do have an ability, a way to get that gelling onto their opponents. That gives them that extra 5%. I just realized, oh my god, is this song like Vocaloid or some shit? Where the fuck am I? Time for me to move on to Honkai music. Van sits up. Hey there, Van. And then Kevin says, is Liberate that good compared to Atlas EX? Whoa. That's... depends. Because the pot, if you look at the potential for Liberate Revelate, it gives a lot of good damage. Critical damage boost. A critical rate, I think, as well. I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's just that it's an all-rounder. Now, Atlas EX is kind of the same, however, the second half of its potential is very situational, and it's more of a safeguard if you know you are gonna get, if you get a die. And do you really need that? I can't answer that for you. Like, I can say so many things, but you yourself need to answer that. But Atlas has 5 SGAs, so it's easier to up 4. Yeah, Atlas EX is actually easier to try to upslot though, just because it has 4 S-class abilities that guarantee you 100% in terms of transfer. The only other issue is the other 4. Yeah, I think some of you guys are just advising that now in terms of trying to upslot it. But, once again, my opinion about the grand position, put it on something that is at an 8 slot and it has a bit more worth in terms of overall usage. Not saying that Atlas EX is not good. It will become a situational thing. Like having certain S-class abilities that can complement your style is a huge plus. But at the same time, the pot is questionable, and then the fact that Global's going at a fast pace, you need to consider that, because guess what happens? If the IO weapon comes out, like in a month or two, that kind of shadows over the Atlas EX. Yes, the Atlas EX has a good potential. But in terms of the Ire weapon, it has a lot more raw damage. It has the same slot numbers, so S1, S2, S3, S4. And they have a better pot. And then also you can upgrade this later into the Light Weaver, which is the endgame weapon over in the Japanese PSO2. There is a spoiler that I'm going to have to mention after watching a certain video with the Japanese side and saying that when it comes to getting multiple endgame weapons, you can technically do that. The endgame weapon I'm referring to is the Light Weaver and the Ire. Ire pretty much has the same SAF like the Atlas EX. It's just that one, it has a higher raw damage, and then it has a better potential in a sense. And then also there's that chance to upgrade it. And right now, the only way to get an Ire drop, as it is for 15 stars, is from the Primordial Darkness Emergency Quest, and then the new Ultimate Quest. What is it? The new Ultimate Quest called Space Time Rift. That drops Ire 15-star weapons. My Red Heart says, had to stop watching for the Quana concept. Please tell me there's more concepts in episode 6. I think they have a new one. It's the Diva one for Vocaloid. What concepts are you guys seeing over there? Out of curiosity. Kevin says, thanks a lot for the information. I didn't know anything about the Liberate weapons. Will come in handy for the future. More seeing the fast speed of the updates. Yeah, it's just that you gotta consider that, because you guys over there in Global, it took rough around 2 to 3 months before you guys got episode 6. And you only have 2 to 3 months just exploring most of episode 5 content. So if they're using that same formula and time span, that's gonna carry over with you guys trying to get to through episode 6 and getting to endgame content. I don't want you guys to waste Meseta. Don't get me wrong. Some people want to get as much as Meseta as they can. I'm one of those guys. I like to try to capitalize on that. But at the same time, I want to be fair about it. There's no point in trying to be like, and try to scam you guys out of your Meseta. Like, I gave opportunities too. Like, it's obvious that there's information on the Japanese PS2. It's a no-brainer. And if you talk to any vet that played in Japanese PS2, went over to Global, they can give good advice and point out some stuff that they know is a huge exploit, or like people are just capitalizing on that. But, you know, some people may not want to listen to that, or some people want to play the game blind and not hear all these outside influence. Nino says, latest one is Comic Twinkle Star. I'm guessing that's a Quana song. So I'm guessing you guys see a bunch of Quana, and then Arc stuff too, like from episode 4, I guess? Red Heart says, we have Koi Koi, Total Encore, Fighting Something, Wishing Star, I don't know the exact name, forgot it. And we did have the Miku concert at start, but don't get me started. Who the hell is calling me? No, I'm not accepting calls right now. I'm doing shit. Leave a voicemail if it's important. And did have the Miku concert. Did I say Miko? I've been watching too much of YouTubers. Miku concert at the start, but don't think they will do it again. It will come up again eventually. What is it? The collab that we have over here in the Japanese PS2 is a revamp. Like, what is it? Let me bring up Bump for... So, over here on the Japanese PS2, we do have a revamp for Project Diva. So you can see that they have a bit more costumes, and then they have this, the Miku Daio suit. Oh, it's funny. And then they got a couple new dances as well. I don't know if Global will get the updated version soon, or it's going to be a while before you guys get this. But this is the one that's going to pop up again over for Global. Maybe. Yeah, On the Japanese side of things, in terms of like promotions and advertisements and just stuff being played on the TV, there's a lot more going on the Japanese side. Because you got those concerts. They've been popping up a lot more, actually, thinking about it. But we got those concerts, but then we also got something called Comic PC Ni? PSO Ni? I'll pull it up on YouTube real quick. So I'm gonna lower this. Like, we got something like this going on our end that plays on the TV every now and then. And at the end of these small little clips, like, they have these phrases that you can use in chat, which you get this currency, which then you can get other stuff with. Global didn't implement this, sadly. And I feel like Global's just leaving out a bunch of stuff that, you know, are alternatives to get a bunch of free items. Once again, I can point out some of the free items that I've seen over there in Global PSO2 that they've been putting behind a paywall. And I don't like that. That's why I can't stand Global. Because I share out something and it's like, this is a free-to-play item. Why is it behind a fucking paywall? But anyways, that's just a glimpse of this thing. You can look it up on YouTube or on Google. Yeah, I don't think they will revive Persona. They are gonna revive, for the Japanese PS2, they are gonna revive the Blaze Blue and the Guilty Gear with some new stuff. And every time they do new stuff with a past collab, they're gonna get all the previous stuff. There will most likely be another revival for the Attack on Titan for the Japanese PS2, because guess what? Season 4 is out! And we already got a lot of collabs with Attack on Titans for all 3 seasons, the first, second, and third. So yeah. Yeah, the mark receptor is behind the AC scratch, or it's going to be behind the Stargem support item scratch. Kind of sucks, but, you know, gotta do what you gotta do. At the very least, you could buy it off of someone, but then again, they're going to charge a lot for those receptors. Red Heart says, yeah, it's crazy how much stuff they put behind a paywall. I think some of our SG stuff is also AC scratch stuff. Like, alright, so once again, I already gave my opinions about this. It's just that the Fresh Shop is the big example of stuff that used to be ACs. It's behind a fucking Stargem wall. The reason why I'm not happy about it is because they don't compensate the easy methods to get Stargems. Because you could, if they do that function over in the Japanese PS2, it's going to get hate most likely because, one, that's a global thing. But then secondly, it's like, it's not going to get as much of a backlash just because, once again, Japanese PS2 have like several ways to get Stargems. You guys have a couple ways, but it's not all of them. Because the 2 big ones that can allow you to get a lot of Stargems, or a good chunk of them, is the, PSO2 ES is one of them. There's Idola. I know you guys have Idola over there in Global, but you guys informed me that it's not linked. That is a problem, because you can get a good chunk of Stargems just by playing Idola and trading in those points. And there's also some items like the series you can only get from Idola. What else? I don't know if they've been active with the ARCs events, ARCs point gathering thing. That's a big one as well. And then once again, I can easily point to like several free-to-play items that they put behind a fucking paywall. Like there's a certain lobby action. Actually, Lydia, can I pull that up? Alright, so this thing here, this Flower Paradox, I know this individual, by the way. I've seen them in-game. They used to play over the Japanese PSO2. But yeah, this Flower Petal Dance over there in Global, it was, what, a 90-day item? Oh, no, it's a 90-day Prime item thing. That was not a fucking pay-to-win sort of deal. Or it wasn't behind a paywall. I'm confused to why Global did that. If Global's able to tamper around with certain functions and features, why did they allow this damn thing to be a fucking paid version? Now, if you don't believe me in that, let me pull up the, what is it, Bump. Because Bump has a history on all these things. And that flower petal thing is a Kuma prize shop. This was back in 2016. Now, in terms of what Akuma is, I'm not 100% sure if this was actually a collab. But still, it was pretty much a free-to-play thing. And they did revive a couple ways to get this again. So I'm just confused to why they have some free-to-play stuff in a paywall. Like, don't get me wrong, I get they're trying to milk money, but that's not the right way to try to milk money easily. Like, the reason why Japanese PSO2 doesn't have that much of a backlash is, one, like, they have very specific things that are unique. Like, the reason why I did the scratch before Japanese PSO2 went into maintenance is because of that certain bonus lobby action. What Global should do is give the same or even better lobby actions as that paywall, not something that used to be a free-to-play item. That bugged the shit out of me when I saw that. Now, some of you guys might not know because obviously if you play on Global and you don't really want to know said details, then that's on you. But that I can easily point out and say, yeah, that was not a fucking thing. And then AFIQ says, oh, I'm maining formal luster soon. Should I get the phrase decay as well? Since FOMO can apply it kind of reliably? Yes, as long as you have something that can apply it and you can get that 5%, go for it. Eternal says, update global JSON. Also, ABS glare recipe is added for globe. Okay, gotcha. And then Kung says 8 slot unit that have all 300 PP plus 27 HP, 190, 170 dex, all of 200. Oh dang, you actually made a formula. Now, so that particular formula you're doing, you are trying to increase that attack. You're not trying to get all-rounder stats. You want some of it from the looks of it, but you're emphasizing on the attack. That formula should be fine. Honestly, I would... well, once again, this is your formula. So if you're emphasizing on the attack more than all-rounder stats, then go for it. I feel like you could swap some of these out just for better stuff. The modulator, for example, I'm not a big fan of them anymore, along with Doombreak 3. But that's just my personal opinion. If you technically farm for these and you want to go with these and use these, go ahead and do it. I'm actually surprised. Why Persona Rev? You could replace that with Mana Rev. Yeah, Mana Rev actually do a lot more than the Persona Rev. There will be a pop item for Mana Rev. But yeah, that Doombreak 3 and Modulator, I feel like you could go for something a bit better. Like, replace the Modulator with... oh, well, it's a pricey one, but a Mark would be better. Mark... yeah, Mark, if it's on a unit... actually, I think you could get, like, 300 attack. Now I gotta fucking deal with formula. Alright, so I get it if you're trying to be cheap about it. And if you're a free-to-play especially, then I cannot be stern about what you're trying to do. It's workable. It's doable. But if you are able to spend a good chunk and you do this, then you could go for some other abilities. But once again, if you're free to play, these are the pieces that you have, and you don't mind doing it, then it's utterly fine. But there are several abilities I could swap out for something better. So I don't exactly know the situation for your end, but it is doable. Can you do decent 8-slot units without a fixed transfer? Yes, but it's a pain in the ass, because you had to get all these pieces to 8 slots, and you need to manipulate depending on what you are doing. If you could get them as a natural drop, that's fine, but there's a lot of things you got to consider. And then B says, "Bruh, I'm watching from work." Well, don't get caught. Icon says, "Only a few things in them I like anyways. Hell, if I'm buying SG, rather just skip the SG scratches at the moment." And then Red Heart says, "The Arcs event sometimes, but it's not like all the time. Some weeks we get the Arcs League, so we could get some extra Star Gems, and the ways to get Star Gems are just dead in global, like Buster Quest, and then there's the multiplayer Olog. Oh, it's bad." Oh, wait, is it that arena thing? I have not touched the PvP side of things. But yeah, Z, I say that's workable, but there's a bunch of conditions that I'm not aware of, depending on how you and why you're approaching it in certain ways. Oh man, I gotta eat though. Alright, so I'm gonna stop the stream here because I need to go eat. I am gonna be streaming again most likely once I'm done. You'll see me maybe in, I'll say 30 to 40 minutes, and I'll be working on the certain formula that I need to do. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. But for now, I'm gonna have to end the stream. Peace. Thank you guys for chatting with me and stuff. I'll be back though. I'll be back.